What it do, what does it do? Welcome to the Bears Den, your premier poetry podcast, the place where we pick the brains of some of the dopest performance poets in the game. I am your ever humble host, that most eloquent earth sign. Oh, beware, it is that boy Bear. And we're coming straight out the wood with something guaranteed to be good. So grab your pen and your pad and let's head into the lab here on the Bears Den.
Mother Eve is
Giants
no longer
often become territorial and pride those who run.
It's simply the launch pad my spaceship.
1 for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20.
1
for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20. 1 for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20. This is not a random assortment of numbers. This is a travesty.
Wonder why my mind
was not my first time leaving a
tears
bride.
of my heart.
Hey, Courtney, those chose the right I've had to capture this shit.
What it do, it's your boy Bear, your favorite poet's favorite poet. And we are back with the Bears Den. All right, today I'm rocking with my partner, my homie, my boy, this is cold-blooded with it, Mr. Justin Fantasticbros Brothers. What's good, family?
Not much chilling. How you doing?
Man, I'm making a soul of a shoulder, man. Living a dream, surviving a nightmare. Glad to have you in today, man.
Glad to be here. You said surviving a nightmare. I ain't heard that before. I'm gonna steal that like in my pocket.
And it's going in the poem here soon.
Yeah.
So, my man here is a father. Congrats.
Thank you.
I know the struggle. A veteran. Thank you for your service.
I had to pay for college, man. Don't look too deep into it.
Hey, I judge it not. Spider-Man enthusiast. Wolverine is better. But I'll forgive you for that one.
Wolverine don't think. Wolverine just runs because he has the liberty to not think. What y'all gonna do? Shoot me? There's no strategy being Wolverine.
That's not what this podcast is about. So we're going to discuss that at a later date because
Yes,
I am judging you
Yes, sir.
a lot right now. And here from the great city of Oklahoma in Oklahoma City. That sounds weird. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It's kind of redundant, but hey, we'll make it work.
It is what it is.
We'll forgive this stuff when it does. Started his game at Oklahoma City University, honed through Red Dirt Poetry. If I can talk today, that'd be awesome. And has spit all over the world, including, you said, Kingston, what?
Kingston, North Carolina. Illusions, open mic, shout out China, and Illusions in Kingston.
In England?
Yes, RAF Mildenhall. Yes.
Afghanistan and Qatar. Okay, I have to step all of my game up because this cat has spit globally. That is impressive.
That is being deployed and having open mics to spit at. But you get different crowds, you get different people.
You want to say this part out loud? Just, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like, they asked me to come on stand to Afghanistan, son. That's what I do, son.
Nah, stay humble, man.
Hey, what can folks say? F humble.
All right.
So, actively petition to be back Clone High, bless your heart. Love Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm a Naruto fan and knows more about Futurama than you. I will actually give you that one. I will allow you to make it with
the best
that
show on TV. Heard. I'm a big Futurama fan. It's crazy.
I am a fan.
Yeah. The first 4 seasons of Futurama before they got canceled, the second time, put it up against any TV, I think it's up there.
Okay. I'm going to have to go back and refresh for the game. So, yeah, man, glad to have you in the lab this morning, man. Chop up a little bit, talk about what you do about this game we call poetry, man.
It's a cruel mistress. It's a loving mistress, but I'm sure you know the same struggles. We all know the same struggles. That's the fun thing about being artists. I feel like we all trying to say the same thing in different ways.
I can feel that. I have noticed that if I'm wrong in what you're saying here, you correct me.
Oh, for sure.
I have noticed that it's kind of like music. You know, different genres tend to kind of follow. They stay in kind of genre themes. Country is sad with a twang.
Yeah.
Blues is sad. R&B is love or
sad
making thereof.
Yeah.
A little bit closer for me.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, I mean, so I think, kind of in poetry, we do kind of I don't know if it's cultural or like as individuals, do we kind of just like flow in the same vein? So what you think?
I think it's one of those things where, like you were saying, I think we all have a lane and an identity, right? And like the country thing, if I want to be a country singer, I'm gonna sing about some girl left me. If I'm an R&B singer, I'm gonna sing about how dope making love is with my shirt off. If I'm a rapper, a trap rapper, or a mumble rapper, there are things you gotta ride in your lane. And the weird thing about us being poets and not famous poets yet is we're constantly doing this tug of war between who I am and who I want people to think I am. Like who I am versus how do I want to be perceived. And I think that's where a lot of it gets kind of murky, because when you, I had an issue, like I said, I started off at Oklahoma City University, and I learned my craft through Red Dirt Poetry, which is mostly white open mic. So I would go to these colleges and speak, and I would do a poem that like killed it over here at Red Dirt. Then I might do it at UCO or do it at Langston, and that thing would like just flop hard. Or go to a black open mic, and that thing will flop. And I'd be like, what the heck? And then I'd say, quote unquote, a black poem, no such thing. But I say that at one of these blacker open mics, then take it to a white venue, and I get crickets. And so my early, late teens, early 20s was just filled with like, oh man, do I say the black poem? Do I say the white poem? Do I say? And it was really, really somewhat of an identity crisis. And I think ultimately the answer is like, yo, shut up, nobody cares. Just do the poem, be you, unapologetically you. And I think when you think of your favorite artists, when I think of my favorite poets, that's just what it is. That genuine aspect of them shines through all the time. That's what I strive to be, because I still struggle with those things to this day. I go to this open mic like, oh man, like what do I need to say? What's that Lupe? Not even that Lupe Fiasco dumb it down, but like, how can I appeal to the most people? When at the end of the day, like, them people ain't write this poem. Like, I need to get in the habit of saying stuff and doing stuff for me. And everybody else can follow along. Because if I'm trying to do this stuff for other people, I'm always going to be trying to do something else. There's never going to be a satisfaction. I'm always going to be trying to do something extra. And that's not what this is about, man. This ain't why I started writing. This ain't why you started writing. I don't think any of us, I pray nobody picked up a pen like, I'm about to get rich making some word rhyme. It's all because
you trap.
Yeah.
I mean, he's spitting their poetry. Woo! Woo!
Even me, my hope was just like, hey, selling drugs is hard, man. I need an outlet. Let me write these words down. And then somebody was like, hey, that's kind of dope. You should lay this down. It's like, nah, these bricks is feeding the kids for now. Like, nah, you should really. Hey, I don't know if you heard of Stove God Cooks. Very good trap rapper.
Really? Stove
God Cooks. I was bumping on the way up here. Like, he said, I made my thick bitch just get lipo. 777 is the score on the FICO. Or 777 is the score on FICO. Very smart guy, very articulate, but just, it's all, you only getting Coke bars.
I know a cat called 100 Days of Summer. If I can say that, I guess, Brandon Wiles. But dude got something called Flipping. Fuego, like fire. And it's trap. But it's smart trap. And I think that's interesting, man. Like, we relegate certain things to certain levels and limits. You know what I mean? I think it's self-limiting. What you said, man, bro, I feel you with both hands in that struggle. Oh, okay, trying to appease an audience. But I'm like, right now, I've been literally like the last week and a half. Like, this past Wednesday, I went to ICE and spit a piece that, was a quote-unquote new piece, as it were. Actually, I recorded and put on my Facebook a while back. And I wrote it by inspiration of the homie kind of deal. Now, it wasn't meant to be a performance piece initially. It was just something I wrote that happened to flow well enough to be performed. It had I guess most of my stuff is a lot of my stuff is inherently rhythmic. That's just the way I write.
Yeah.
And because I know performance, then I knew how to make it something that would work on stage. But I was debating that in another piece, and a couple things. I'm like, I want to do some new stuff, but it's like I'm trying to find out, with the audience, what is really going to get them engaged and active. I find a lot now that I get a lot of silence when I spit. You know, some people say, and you can tell what your audience. Some people like, you know, people are quiet because they listening. You know, and I try to do stuff that you gotta listen to. But I also want to give you something that, you know, hits you in your feels and makes you react, move. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do I do this piece? Do I do this piece? Do I write something new? What I hit them with to make them, I get that crowd reaction. But it's like, bro, if the poem's good, it's good. And it is good because it's good to me. And that's what some years back I finally came to a resolution on. I like what I spit. You know, I go back and read stuff. I'm like, bro, that was dope. And I'm like, man, if y'all missed that, sucks to be you, because that was fire. So I fully respect it, man. Art, I believe, true artists, actual artists are creators, and you create for yourself. I allow other people to enjoy it and experience it, but I make it for me. My favorite in the game of all time will be Miles Davis, because that man, he played for himself, and you were allowed to be present while he was making, you know, his magic. And I kind of feel that way, man. Now, so much you said too, man, it is one of the challenges when you switch audiences. I did a slam once, and the one piece I got to do, I had a line in it that I could see. It was a hodgepodge judging group anyway. They weren't playing to be judges. We had like no audience. Things had gone terribly awry. The folk they picked the judge would just happen to be in the room for something else, and they were just like, sure, why not, cool, whatever. Like yeah. It was tragic. But I came up with my hitter, and I was like, okay, my line's like, how dope am I? I said, I'm so dope that a Chinese man grew me, a Mexican man moved me, a black dude sold me, and a white dude smoked me. I hit that last line, and I saw every one of them eyes judges went like, oh, and well, we're done. They put their stuff down. They were looking around. I was like, well, I'm not going to advance.
I just hung myself. All right. I thought it was...
You know, I thought, you know what I'm saying, we do it in poetry. Yeah. You know, like certain things, to me, poetry is like comedy. You challenge. You know, that's what make Dave Chappelle so great, man. Yeah. I'm not going to give you what's easy, but it's going to be good. And I'm like, you know, people who are actual fans or audiences for poetry, a good bar is a good bar. No matter what you're spitting on, no matter how you do it. So that's one of those, you know, they say you do it for yourself, man. At the end of the day, if you like your pen, if you look at your work and you are happy with what you do, when you're comfortable with it, to me, everything else
is... Oh, yeah. That's definitely it. I had not a similar thing, but like my poetry upbringing, right? So...
Which I'm about to ask you about. What started you in this game?
I think the first poem I remember writing, I might have been a junior or senior. I've been public speaking in church since like 5, like going to contests all over the nations doing church speeches. But, you know, that's very stand-up. My aunt, uncle, mom wrote my speeches. I stand up, say my little 5-minute speech, hit the inflection in a certain part. So the speaking was easy. I think I was in a weird relationship, and I remember the poem was called Receipt. Basically just like, man, you wasted all this time. I need a receipt. I need a refund. I wrote that like into high school. I get into college, running track at OCU. Don't run track in college. It is terrible unless you love it. But in a little rap group with one of my homeboys, and Shayla Law, I don't know if you're familiar. She was like, hey, I'm in BSA. We having an open mic. You know, y'all pretty much write anyway, so come to the open mic. So I wrote some poems down. I was like, it was easy. Very, what I would call rudimentary at the time, like A-B type things. But I already had that background of speaking. I got up there, and in college, like, all through high school, like, I was homecoming king, jock, very good grades, all that. So by the time I got to college, I was like, I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't mess with nobody. I had this fake facade on because I was in an all-white place. I had to be the representative, the black people aren't scary guy. So in college, I was like, look, I ain't talking to nobody. I'm being myself. So it was all like graphic tees. I kept my glasses on, no contacts. I just sat in the corner all of college. So I was just a quiet, weird kid. And I got up on that open mic, man. And when I was done with my little 3 pieces, it was like standing ovations. Everybody was like, oh my God, I didn't know he could talk. All this. And that serotonin was like, good. I was like, oh, I might be good at this. And then one of my homeboys, Brendan, was just like, hey, you did really good. You should check out Galileo. They do it on Wednesday nights, man. And I go up to Galileo, and I got a mixed review. They were really nice. It was really family-oriented type things. Then there was a slam, and I'm in college. I was like, winner gets $100? I was like, oh man. Yeah. I'm about to liquor money. And I don't know if you know the brother. The guy who was featured is a great poet. Please check him out. Kari 6is9. Oh, I can't think of his last name. I want to say Jackson, but I want to get it wrong. But Kari 6is9. Dope brother. Dope brother out of Minnesota. So he was a feature, and it was myself there, Confidence out of Tulsa. She lives in Denver now. Shout out Confidence. And Matt Vine. And I'm thinking, man, I killed these open mics, man. I'm going to go in here. Boy, when I went in there so unprepared, so like, there was like, baby, you did good, baby. You tried. And it just opened my brain to like, oh, like, it's a whole different realm of what I'm doing. And I remember I went to an erotic open mic, and this is after like I've been studying, been doing writing workshops, been got my pen right. And I go to this erotic open mic somewhere, maybe at Queen of Sheba. And I get up there and I say this dope poem. Dope. When I tell you they gave me like some 2s and 3s, I was like, a 2? You know, when you pity somebody, you give them a 6. And this lady came up here with some dreads talking about lick my, suck my, dance. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
So that kind of taught me, to get back to the point, like, maybe you gotta either step your pen up a couple of levels to where it's undeniable, or you gonna have to try to get in where you fit in. And I don't want to do the latter, so I try to work on the former, man. Let me step my pen up so high to, regardless of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it, you're gonna be like, oh, no, that dude was dope. I don't want to, hey, this is the guy who said, like for me, hey, it's the period sex poem guy. Right, it's a chicken nuggets poem guy. Like, I don't want to be, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I just want to be, hey, that dude is nice.
It shows, my G. Like, I was thinking about this earlier, man, how to describe you. Your style. What strikes me is you have a very, like I said, okay, come out of slam, where I started kind of thing. Okay, a little background on me, which is about me, but just for reference, what I'm saying.
This your show, boy. Better talk the shit.
Talk your shit. No, I started writing poetry in like elementary school, man. I can go back and find pieces, and it's nothing, what I'm saying. You go back and look, it was there. You know what I'm saying? Like poetry, I wrote songs. I studied some of those too. Some of those actually kind of fire. Like I was kind of scared of myself, man. I'm in, what I'm saying.
You get way better at stuff. Like, you the best. I try to tell my daughter, you the best at stuff before somebody tells you bad at it. Man,
I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig that. You know what I'm saying? When you have that full confidence, like, man, you know what I'm saying? I do it because something important. You do it because you love to do it, and you'll never go wrong. It'll always be fire. But yeah, man, I started writing like way back. And I'm sure I remember a whole lot of stuff in middle school. I know high school, I got kind of prolific. And I went I'm ashamed to say, I went through, the high school phase of, this is deep, but it's sad kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I got some good stuff in there. Don't get me wrong. But it is kind of
like trauma porn almost, like cringy when you look at it, like.
Yeah. Like, bro, like, why was I so sad? Like, dang. But it was still like some dope bars in there. It really was. But in high school, man, like I was always one of the smartest kids, and I went to a magnet, science engineering magnet in Dallas. So I was a smart kid, around a bunch of smart kids. You know what I mean? Which is cool. But English has always been my thing. Like writing is my thing. I read voraciously, kind of deal. And I just love that kind of vein, whatever. So I was writing it, kind of thing on porch, blah, blah, blah. And folk got wind of it and stuff, man. I was like, oh, bro, that's dope. And so I'm exposing people. I messed around and like started writing poems that dudes was giving to their girls, the girls they was trying to get.
Oh, man.
And they was pulling.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it was working. like hey, the success rate, I'm going to start charging.
Pulling. Like, bro. We're working for me, but it was working for them. You know what I mean? So
it was like, okay, cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Barry is official, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know this. I know this. Come on, bro. I got to college, man. And I remember I knew folk. I hung around a few people. I was a theater kid, you know what I mean? Got a musical theater, so I hung with like the actors, stuff, blah, blah. And one cat, we doing music, we recording stuff. Shout out to Josh Sands, whatever that cat may be right now. So I was doing that, man, and just kind of doing what I was doing, whatever. And then dude told me like an open mic on campus. And I was like, okay, sure, you know, so I'm like, go spit, right? I went and spit, man. Everybody was like, oh my God, like, we didn't know. And I was like, yeah, kind of what I do. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of light work, though. After that, though, every time I turn around, like, say, man, you know, that was dope. Can you read it? What you think about this, man? One chick gave me like a whole binder full of poems, and I was like, she's like, what you think? And I was like, that's what the first experience I had with, I'm gonna have to lie, because it was like all the same poem. It was all my boyfriend, this, my boyfriend, that. And I'm like, bro, by the time you read the third one, we got it. We get it. Yeah. I don't need 30 of these. But I was like, hey, and some people, you know, you talk about erotic stuff, man. Some people, that's all they do. I ain't mad at you if you can do it, like, you can vary it and make it different and do it well. But a lot of people, unfortunately, and that's sidebar here, that's one of the genres that kind of like makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah, it's like barely a genre.
It's almost lazy.
It's very it's almost like mainstream anything. I ain't gonna say mainstream rap and just settle it out. Like mainstream anything, it's so disingenuous because it's always like lick my, suck my, I can go for this long, blah blah blah. That's why whenever I try to say a poem, like I said the period sex poem, like we can bring other aspects of eroticism and we can be a little bit more genuine in the fact that, all right, cool, we all know having sex. Embarrassing stuff happens. Awkward stuff happens. Funny stuff happens. And sometimes sex in and of itself might not be sexy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes sex ain't sexy. Sometimes sex is funny. Sometimes sex is sad. Sometimes sex is purely physiological. It's just all these other things. But I think we, like, when, shout out Dope Poetry, Jay Wiggs and Crawford, but when Jay Wiggs is like, hey, say it in a smooth voice, word up. Like, I feel like we all just think this sultry, like, hey, like my dick is like this, and I can make you do this, and Like, it sounds like an interlude on an R&B record. Like, that's what we think erotic poetry, or that's the space we put R&B poetry in. Or not R&B, erotic poetry in. Because it sounds like, yo, why does it sound like an Usher skit?
To me, it sounds more like some, you know, late 90s Luke. Like,
I mean, and it is definitely moved straight to that direction. And
like, it just, like, I try to, you know, I got one poem called Say My Name, where it's obvious. I say, I want you to say my name, you know, saying blah, blah, blah. But I never say what we're doing to get it, because that's understood. You know, I got a poem called Safe Your Sexuality, about, you know, saying the good mind sex, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. A poem called Love My Lingo, which sounds like a sex poem, but I'm actually talking about spitting these bars. Got one called My Lesbian Lover, which is a sex poem, but actually about the intimacy side of it. How we move beyond just the physical bodies bumping into, I see you as more than just a smash and dash kind of deal. So, like I said, for me, give me something different. You know what I'm saying? Give me something that, and what I hate is, and I blame listeners, and I hope the listeners, if you do better, if you're not better, be better, do better, god dog it. But we ain't got to big up every time somebody said I put it in my mouth, or I stuck my finger in this, and then it's like we got to escalate, man. It's like, oh, so now I brought somebody else in, and it's like, bro, we get it. Like, woohoo! Like after the fifth time you hear it, yes, we know fellatio is a thing. I'm happy for you. Proud of you, I guess. Congratulations. But
like, I'm nastier than you are. No, I'm nastier than you are. Like, my poem's nastier than yours.
I'm like, my question is, can you read a book? And like, do you do anything besides like, so?
It's kind of like how it's kind of like what I call like the welfare dilemma. Like, we talk to some right wings like, oh, these people are spending their welfare checks on XYZ. We need to drug test them. Like, out of 100 people, that might be 10. So you gonna mess it up for 100 people over what 10 people are doing? Yeah. And I do look at some erotic poets who, like, that's their thing. They are the nasty poet. And I just look at them and I talk to them on Twitter, and these are people I know. Mm-hmm. Like, you just nasty motherfucker. Like, that's just your personality. So when you say it, I can't. You're not doing this for the serotonin boost of getting these cheers at ICE. You're not doing it to one up anybody. You just genuinely this person.
That's your thing.
But yeah, so, and at this point, it's like, all right, I do, some of these things are very cringy to me, but I try to go in with the open mind, like, that might, I really, 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 really doubt it, just be who they are.
Well, but, I mean, so me personally, again, I always say time, like I say, I'm your favorite poet, straight poet. I'd rather be your favorite poet than your favorite person, personally. So, me, again, shout out to Dope Poetry, Jay Wing Power. As we say, you know, these poets behind me are the dopest people in the room, the bravest people in the room, because they get here knowing that some of you be judging them on the car ride home. I'm like, I say every time, no, I judge you before you get off the stage, because I'm listening to what you spit. Whoever you, to me, performance, and this might just be because I come from an acting background, partially. Well, I was doing poetry before I did acting, but the thespian aspect involved, yeah. But I started this to Mac a while back too. When I get on stage, the character that's spitting that poem is the character spitting that poem. But at the moment, you see me as the character. Like there's spitting with conviction, spitting, you know, with person. Like when I'm saying this, you believe what I'm saying. But it's the poem, it fits the poem, you know. So I'm not saying that, you know, everything gotta be you know, breaking down my bio and sharing the details, you know what I'm saying, who I am, or laying that for myself, whatever. Or there might even be like who you are. My question is, whatever the case may be, is the poem good? I don't have an issue with erotic poetry as a genre. I just have an issue when it's weak.
Yeah, I got an issue with lazy, and I try so hard. I've been this last year, this spiritual undertaking where it's like, all right, cool, let me just empathize, because it's like, we were just talking about this earlier, like how we don't know what to say. Like, you kind of want to tailor your piece for the room. So we want to tailor our piece for the room, and I can't lie, I have spoken everywhere hundreds of times open mic. I'm sure you have too. I get the same serotonin boost in front of 2 people cheering for my stuff or the 2,000. Like, I just get so happy when that cheering. I think everybody does. And the sad truth of it is sex sells and sex is important. I think all of us at these open mics, we need to be more active listeners. When you got somebody up there who is shy and timid on the mic and not talking about sex, talking about one of my friends who is a nasty poet, she says her nasty pieces. She got up there and said something super heartfelt about losing a child. Losing it, like, it was rough. Like, she gave her soul out. But it's one of them things where it's just like, crickets, yawns, crickets. I'm like, yo, and people really not paying attention out here. And I would challenge listeners, if y'all frequent these open mics, whether if it's somebody you don't know or somebody who might not be the loudest or somebody who might not be dynamic, still be an active listener in what's going on, because it's kind of like we're creating our own problem. Because if we don't listen to these people and all they hear is, well, better say that sex poem so I can get some claps.
That's bro, that's real. That's real. I was gonna say, no, you know, okay. I was gonna say one of that to me hinges on the performance aspect, and I think my man's Coop says when you get up there, man, spit that freaking poem, man. This is performance. You're on stage. Perform your freaking poem. Believe it, do 100%. Go for that. I know some folk who are dope on a pen, cold on a pen. Because I listen to what they say, I'm like, bro, you cold on a pen. But after a while, I get tired of listening to them because they suck at performance.
Monotones and... Yeah.
Or they just, they don't recognize that the crowd is not with them. They don't know how to find those spaces to really engage. And sometimes they really be trying, but it's like, it's not landing because you haven't learned the performance aspect of the craft. I know people who spit, man, it's like they think they just killing the game, bro. And they get some, shouts, whatever. But honestly, a lot of people see. Okay, here's me personally, versus the 2 or 2,000 cheer kind of thing. Give me two good poets. I know they're good poets. Catch me at the bro. That was fire. That's what I get my shine off of, because I know. Like I said, I know I'm good at what I do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm going to give that audience something they're going to rock with and roll with. I know every time I touch that mic, every single time I touch that mic, I'm going to give you something that is solid. I'm going to give you steak every single freaking time. Now, you may not have the teeth strong enough to chew steak. You might not appreciate a medium rare filet mignon. My personal ribeyes.
Medium rares, where it is. Yeah.
That's it. You like, I need some well done, whatever. But I guarantee you're gonna know it was steak.
It was presented.
You might not be able to appreciate the steak, but you know that it was steak. So for me though, the poets that I rock with, that I listen to, I'm like, bro, you got bars. When you say, Bear, that was dope, bro. I'm like, I appreciate my guy, because somebody who knows the craft, bro. The people that came through Miles Davis's bands, the multiple bands he did, you couldn't make it to this band unless you were dope. And if Miles said, you own a cat, bro, there's no other, I don't care. Because the audience, when you're good, the audience is gonna know you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like you feed a child cotton candy all day. They be like, yay, daddy gave me cake. The Cosby Show, daddy is great. He gave us chocolate cake.
Yeah, daddy is great. He gave us chocolate cake.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna love that. But eventually you're gonna realize my stomach is empty. I need some more substance. And when you're good at what you do, you're gonna give people substance. To me though, it's when the chef, your fellow chef, your colleague chef is like, say, I need a recipe for this. Or like, bro, that was a good plate. You know what I mean? To me, the people in the craft who are good at their craft, that's what moves me.
Yeah, the adoration of your peers is cool. It's a really good feeling.
Actual peers, not just co-performers. Because there's a delineation.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think from that aspect, we need to get to, and that's something my home Red Dirt is really, really good at. But we need to ask ourselves when we're in these spots, if this is called blank, 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 Bears open mic, what's the difference? Like, how much of an open mic is it? Mm. Because once again, we get back to that, I got to rock this crowd. Or some cats go in like, man, I got to pull something tonight, so I got to say these things. Like that last Eargasms, like, I'll be going up there if I got a free Wednesday, now that school's over especially, I'll be like, okay, cool. And I just so happen to end up on Eargasms. I don't know how. And I go up there like, I'm not saying this period poem ever again. Like, maybe if it's like something that somebody paid to get into. But if it's an open mic, I'm going to try out a poem. I'm going to write something new. I'm going to try to. But Crawford was just like, hey, man, that period poem be good right now for this crowd. I'm just like, nah. So I was like, you know what? I wrote something. I had an idea in my brain I've been wanting to get out. And I wrote something, and it didn't turn into, it wasn't as good as I thought it was. But at the end of the day, I was just like, man, I'm happy I did something for me. Because I guess that's the question, like, at an open mic, what are we expecting? Because even that time, I thought we saw a little girl. She was very timid. Her poem might have been like 5 or 6 lines. Had shoulder-length red hair. And she was like, I'm so nervous, this and that. But it was one of them things where it was just like, these are the people that I think these things are for. Like us, we can go these places and do these things. And we can sharpen our tools. But some of these people are like, that's them going to the tool store. That's them going to the Home Depot to pick up the tools in the first place. Mm-hmm. So, it's different lanes for everybody. And I respect all avenues of it. And that's where I get to your thing, because there's 2 realms at the open mic. You got everybody who's doing it for their therapy or doing it to get out of their shell. And when they up there, I try to give them my undivided attention as much as I can. And I know they might not be as seasoned, and I know they're up there trying, and I know it's just, and then you got the crowd of people like, yo, I take this seriously. Like, I got the booking info in my bio. Like, you can pay me to do this. Now, when you got those cats on the right side of the spectrum, that, hey, this is my thing, pay for my services, and they don't take their craft serious, that's when I get a little, upset's not the word, but I'm working on a poem kind of like right now, like, poetry is this lady. I love this lady. Joe Budden had a line, and I think Broken Rings freestyle, Joe Budden's a dick, but that man can write. But he says, I married hip hop, ignored what they was telling me, started hearing rumors of infidelity, I ain't divorced her, all the other niggas are so whacked that I ain't even feel no jealousy. And it's just like, man, I get so upset, like we was talking prior to recording, like, I love this thing. Mm-hmm. I want to break down and cry right now. Mostly because I'm emotional, but mostly because I love poetry really, really real. When I was living out of my car and I had nothing, I was still going to open mic on Wednesdays. One memorized piece, one new piece. When I had nothing to eat, eating 30-cent bags of chips, showering in like the student union bathroom, like, I was still writing. I still have that notebook to this day. Like, I love these words. I love this craft. And I see it as this lady, and y'all just dressing her up in slutty outfits. Like, y'all worried about what she can do for you and not what you can do for her. And y'all got this whole game all the way up. And I can see it and I can feel it. Like you was talking about with the substance, commanding a stage is something you have to do. And even if my poem's not that good, when I get up there, like, hey, all this talking shit's gonna stop.
Yeah.
Whether y'all listen to these words, whether y'all don't listen to these words, y'all ain't about to talk over me.
Hey.
And I think certain poets have that thing where it gets to the metaphysical aspect. Like, when you see a good poet, I can close my eyes and I can just feel that poet. Regardless of where they whispering, regardless of where they yelling, their presence is demanded through that love of the craft. And it's just, yeah, it's a whole different thing. Like, and you can feel it in the room. Mm-hmm. You ain't got to talk like Crawford. Crawford don't raise his voice.
No. Man, one of the things, man, that I never ask folk to be quiet. I never ask folk to pay attention because I know that that's my job. Mm-hmm. And I know that once you get the first couple lines on this piece, you're going to pay attention because the poem speaks for itself.
Exactly.
Me personally, and it's crazy what he said, I close your eyes for the man. Me, when I'm listening, like if I'm listening to somebody, I close my eyes. I block out everything else so I can see. Because I see the words. I'm a serious audiovisual person. Yeah. So I hear it and I see it. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm breaking out how you put stuff together. I'm like, bro, that was tight, you know what I'm saying? So but listen to good music, man, you close your eyes. Eating good food, make you close your eyes. You know what I'm saying? They got whole restaurants you eat in the dark because it's just a sensation to taste. Yeah. I think if you being fed something good, you put yourself in a space where you can actually, absorb it and taste it. And like you said, man, people out here, again, listeners, you know what I'm saying? Out here feeding people, cheeseburgers and stuff, man. It's like, I told my partner, man, it's like, well, we got the numbers. Like, it's cool. It's that McDonald's got 1 billion served, but it's McDonald's. I mean, and we know that McDonald's is not the greatest, even though it's prolific. Anyway, leaving that alone for the moment, we keep talking about this thing, man, about what we love about it, man, how we do it, man. So, at this point, I have savored from your plate. I personally goes around saying, but our people here have not. So, you got something for us? Give us something.
For sure. Like, there you asked me, pick my favorite. Like, as an artist, I look at all my stuff, and when I'm done with it, that's going to trash.
Really?
Like, I probably got 10 or 15 poems I love. I can't find them for nothing because I rarely write them down. And I ain't like, not Jay-Z, I don't write stuff down. I do write stuff down. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just write it down and I get discarded. Like, I wish I did a better job of keeping all my stuff. But, man, I like this Chicken Nuggets poem. I like this Promises poem, so I'll spit that if that's cool.
Hey, what you do, Playboy?
For sure. This poem's called Promises. And, man, I wrote this poem probably 2010, 2009, man, somewhere around there. But 1 for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20.
1 for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20. 1 for 4, 2 for 10, 3 for 20. This is not a random assortment of numbers. This is a travesty. This is the amount of sauces you get per chicken nugget at McDonald's. For those of you who don't find this problematic, please pour a large bowl of Frosted Mini Wheats and only use about 2 tablespoons of milk. See, I can't speak for you, but my chicken nuggets have been talking to me. They give me a good morning text every day. They've liked nearly all my pictures on Instagram, favorited all my tweets. I'm trying to tell y'all, my chicken nuggets are thirsty. Baptize them in barbecue sauce. I don't want to dip them. I will dunk them. I want them to wade in the water that is sweet and sour sauce until this Negro is feeling spiritual. See, I pleaded Monday. I begged on Tuesday, cried on Wednesday, screamed on Thursday, and on the 5th day, it was like Amistad, and I was reminiscing of Sinke. Give us free. Hot mustard. Give us free. Ranch dipping sauce. Give us free. Habanero barbecue, please. See, as a child, I adored you. Hold up. Food that comes with the playground. And my mom can afford this? I need this in my life. As a teen, you taught me self-sufficiency, scrambling for loose change kept underneath couch cushions, water cups filled with Sprite, because if nobody's looking, I'm going to fill up that water cup with Sprite. $2.16 was a meal. As an adult, you taught me I really don't have to keep promises. I can give you something and take it away when you least expect it. When times are hard on me, I can make them hard on you. You'll understand. This is business. Mr. McDonald, you claimed you loved to see us smile, but during times of trial, you turned over a new beef. McDonald's, you are the girl in the club with the astronomical backside and Lilliputian miniskirt. Your rear end is peeking at me like a child, certain you won't find his all but obvious hiding spot. You are grinding on me like hedonism is your religion and Prince is preaching one hell of a sermon. McDonald's, then when I asked you for your phone number, you had the audacity to tell me you have a boyfriend. Get the hell out of here. Now, granted, you never said you didn't have a boyfriend. I kind of implied, but I really don't scream, hey, I don't have a staph infection prior to jumping into a crowded pool. It's kind of implied. I know assuming makes an ass out of you and me, but what does it make of me when I'm assuming the best of you? Well, I suppose it makes me a little naive. And I guess it makes you a shell of your former glory. Your fries aren't as hot, your arches aren't as gold, and your Big Mac is looking a little sloppy. Your ice cream machine is always fucking broke. McDonald's, I now drink like a grown man. I can eat like a grown man. I realize you don't have to literally say, I promise, to in fact make a promise to somebody. After a while, it's a duty. It's kind of like a responsibility. Mr. McDonald, I promise if you don't get your act together, I am going to Burger King. Ronald McDonald, please look at your reflection in the mirror and ask yourself, are you loving it? Thank you.
Bruh. Snap. Snappy snap. Bruh.
Cold snaps.
Bruh. Bars.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Like you was talking, man, I wrote that so long ago, and it's just like, it's crazy. Like Nas wrote Illmatic, not saying it's Illmatic, but thinking of these people who write what their favorite work or their most revered work, like a couple days into the game. And so like discouraging and inspirational at the same time.
Well, hey, their favorite work.
Yeah.
Favorite so far. Like, shoot, when I first came to Ice, man, I spit something I wrote probably 10 years before then. I spit it every now and then. I spit like my first 2 main like slam poems, and they still slap. And I mean, I don't know if they're not my favorites. You know what I'm saying? I love them. You know, they rock. Bruh. That was bars. All right, so I gotta ask the obligatory question.
For sure.
So was that actually about food?
Man, and it's crazy because most of my poems, like, when I made my little mini-series and I made an episode based on a lot of old poems. When I made this one, I was just thinking, I was like, man, I can't really remember the mind space I was in. But I do remember having this conversation with somebody at McDonald's once upon a time when I found that they was charging. I was like, damn, would y'all start charging for sauces? Like, where they do that at? And they were like, you ain't got this? But then poetry is so weird. Like one of my mentors, Lauren Zuniga, we used to do this writing exercise where
she have a bag full of words, like cut out a magazine. She pull a word out. I don't know, say the word is bleach. You see bleach, and you write 10 words that come to your mind. First 10 words come to your mind out of bleach. So everybody in the room does that. And then out of those 10 words, you look at it for like 2 minutes, circle the word that resonates with you the most. Circle that word and say bleach, clean, blah, blah, blah. And then you end up with like scrub. You circle scrub. And then you write 5 minutes on the word scrub, and you just don't pick the pen up from the paper. You just write. So the whole time you're writing, you started with bleach and then scrub. You can end up in TLC scrub. And when I do this writing exercise, I realize 9 times out of 10, some issues I had in the back of my brain come out of nowhere. And so when I think about this poem, I know on the front end, hey, funny issue, McDonald's, blah, blah, blah. And then on the back end, it was definitely something about expectation. It's like, hey, or what's your duty to somebody else? I think we always get in these situations where you might pull a technically, I never said that. Like, bro, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Joe Budden situation with his cohorts. Like, you got these 2 guys and y'all rocking together super hard doing his podcast thing. And he's just like, well, y'all brothers ain't on contract, so I'm kicking y'all off and doing my own thing. Bruh. And like, granted, he never said, I never said y'all was on contract, but we were rocking so hard doing this thing, you would think. Yeah. And so I think, that's where it came from.
That's the reason I had to ask that question, which is part of what this is about, man. Like I said before, what I'm going to do, man, is explore the whys and the whats of what we do, not just the hows, because the how is easy. The how is pretty simple. Writing a poem, even writing a good one, isn't necessarily that hard to explain the how to do it. Now, your approach is different than mine, as it were. But the mechanics of it is one thing. But it's the what you're saying and why you're saying that intrigues me. And so now a lot of poems, and I'm big on this, subverting expectations.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
What you think this poem is about. My poem Amy, for example, that's one of my favorites. That is hands down one of my favorites, because I don't know anybody. They 6 sentences is lying. Like, I knew before you got to the end what you're talking about. No, you didn't, because it wasn't until I hit you with the end. But the best part, and the reason I let poem so much, because if you go back and listen to it, which if I'm performing, you're not going to, which is why I sell books. I have books, momentary self-plug. For sure. www.inkthinkpress.com. I am a publisher.
If you got any on you physical copies right now, let me know.
I will, we can make some shake.
Got you.
I got 2 books: Scribble Visions, Thoughts and Theories from the Third Lane, and then Keep Calm and Feed the Bear. Stage Poetry from an Angry Earth Sign. Yes. While there too, we'll talk about that in just a moment. I got a question about that too. But the Keep Calm and Feed the Bear is what I call like a cheat sheet for those who have heard me spit and wonder, like, what did he actually just say? Like, you can hear it and catch it, but I try to put so much into a poem that can go so many different ways. So, like Amy, if you go back and read it, once you get to the end and find out what it means, you'll go back and see all the places I was telling you where it was going.
Dropping the hints.
That culminate, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I love to do, and I know a lot of poets, that's how we approach things. I'm going to give you something as a metaphor for something else. But sometimes, I just found this out. Are you familiar with the song Particle Man? Particle Man, there's a thing that a particle can. It's by something They Might Be Giants. It's old, back in the 90s, whatever. It's just crazy because it's Particle Man, Triangle Man, Universe Man, and Person Man. Universe Man has a watch that has a minute, a millennium, and an eon hand. Ooh. Sounds heavy. Sounds dope, you know what I'm saying? Like, Particle Man, when he gets in the water, does he get wet or does the water get him instead? Crazy, right? Sounds like some deep, heavy stuff, right? They answer the people like, what's the song about? It's like, it's just a song.
Just the words.
It's just...
That's the best thing about art, and I'm sure a literary buff as yourself has been in the AP English class where you sitting there and they're just like, Mr. Bear, what do these blue walls represent? And you gonna say something to the effect of like, because that's what we're taught. Blue walls represent his despair. And you're just like, what if this man really like the color blue?
I was literally telling my son the other day, I wanted to give this to English teachers to play with for their poetry sections. I wrote 2 poems on the same day. Well, I didn't know a lot of time, but both of them are called Your Kiss. And one is a high style, almost Shakespearean, it's a more formal piece. And one is more colloquial, contemporary. And I wanted to get people and ask, okay, have them read both, what the poem is about, kind of thing, not knowing who wrote it or when it was written, and see what they take from that. Like, would you ever guess it's written by the same person on the same day? Who did it just because I want to see if I could. I wrote a poem back in high school. My father was like, it's good, son, but it's kind of depressing. I wrote it just to play with the imagery. It's sad, theoretically, but it's a damn good poem.
Yeah.
Because I was playing with...
And that's, when you set those goals for yourself, like... when I posted that McDonald's one on my YouTube channel, I was looking at some of the comments, and they were just like, yeah, it's crazy how these corporations just squeeze us dry and stuff. I was like, bro, I ain't had none of that in my brain. But cool, I'm glad y'all picked up some of those.
I had an argument with some people on Quora, man, like, if a writer writes something, they say, the author said they weren't writing about this, but you can tell. Like, no.
You can't.
Okay. You're allowed your perception of what it is. You're allowed. It's in your hands, in your domain. You can take what you want to, but you cannot say that your perception trumps what the author meant. And they said that's one of the beautiful things about art, man.
Exactly. I was just about to get on that. Like, that's the beautiful thing about art. You can take away from it exactly what you need from it. No more, no less. If, the guy who said that about the poem about the corporation squeezes dry, he's a business owner. So he thinks about things a little bit different. Whereas I look at it, I think of like your expectations of somebody else. Somebody else look at it and be like, yo, McDonald's is really stingy with these motherfucking sauces. Like, whatever, like the great art, we all can take something from it. And very rarely is it going to be the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Very rarely. You like, what's that? A cask of Amontillado. Like, don't betray people.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes you got to get revenge on somebody.
Yeah.
Don't be drunk in public. Like, whatever you want to take away from that story.
Is bad.
Maybe I need to stop drinking.
Hey, and do not follow dudes into basements that you got beef with. Like, bro.
Exactly. No matter how old and how good the drink is, just tell me to come up and ring it to you.
Say, bro, like, you don't say I got you next round. I got you.
I got some white Henny in the basement, dog. What? Let's go get it. No, you can get it. I'll stay here.
For real. Like, and here, children, is what we call a setup. Man, bro, it's crazy. I said the layers that you get out of a piece, what you can do with the piece, where you can take it, where you can turn it, and then the why. Like I said, the why of what we do, and then okay, you said you taking classes and workshops, kind of things, so and so. Did you plan for that poem to end up the way it did? Like the way that it turned into what you started with? Was it your purpose at the beginning to end up talking about expectation, how they are thwarted?
No. What happens is, like I said, with that exercise, man, you write a poem down, you just write it. Well, for me, I just write. And then I look at it and I'll be like, oh, man, I was going through something. Or like, I don't write poems for girls. And that's the thing, as a poet, I hate telling women I'm a poet because so many people in their bio use it as a pickup line. And they use it as a pickup line.
Back in college, my homie was using me, like, say, bro, he does poetry. Like, I was like, the girl's like, oh, really? Why he making moves? Like, bro, how come if I'm the poet?
Can I speak up myself? But I just hate it. Like I said, in college, like OCU is a very small college, but after that, Mike, like, hey, you're the poet guy. Hey, you're the poet. Like, yeah, cool. But I would really prefer if a girl I talked to did not know I did poetry until after you got to know me, because girls will think I'm some kind of like Shakespearean, I hold a rose, look at the moon type of dude, and that is not who I am at all. And don't say write me a poem, because that's just I write the poem, then I'll be like, oh man, I was really mad at that girl after the fact. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I write these poems and they come out. So my favorite poems, I just write them. I do some retooling, and I'll be like, oh, that's what that was about. Like, it's just, I say I write because a therapist wasn't in my family's budget. So yeah, I ain't got time to talk to somebody and work these issues out. I'll write them and be like, oh, yeah, she did me wrong. I'm sad about that. And I just keep on going. Sometimes I got a poem called Word Search where I saw that Papoose' alphabetical slaughter, and I was like, man, this dude, he's like, hey, assassins alert, aimed aggressively, something. But he was just alliteration through every letter of the alphabet. And then at the end, K Slate, blah, 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 blah. He gonna go backwards on round 2. So at the time, I was dealing with a girl in college who was upset at the poetry thing. And I cover it in my little mini-series, kind of almost to the same thing where you getting too much attention. You going out to these open mics. And I'm like, I really, really enjoy this. I ain't out here just because I want to be out here. But I was just writing the poem like, yo, I can love you and love these words too. But in that same poem, I did the alphabetical thing. I went from A to Z, Z to A, back A to Z. Like you said, you just want to mess with the imagery. I wanted a challenge. I was like, man, I'm going to do this A to Z thing. Then I'm going to do Z to A. Then I'm going to do A to Z again. But when I first started the poem, it was just A to Z one time. And then by the time the Papoose thing came around, the backwards, I was like, now I got to go the other way. And I got to do it again. Let me try to one up it. So it's fun to challenge yourself. And I think there could be a marriage. Sometimes I got some stuff I want to get out. And sometimes, like the period sex poem, I was just like, man, I'm tired of all these traditional sex poems. Let's just talk about something silly that, not even silly, it's natural as hell. But let's just talk about something I think people shy away from. And I go from there. So it's a marriage of both. Sometimes as an artist, you want to put yourself in these parameters. You want to get a what do you call it? A prompt. And you want to go on this prompt and write for the prompt. And then sometimes it's therapy. Sometimes you just write some stuff out and you know, let it take you wherever it wants to.
Word. I feel you, man. Like me, I very, very rarely ever write with a purpose, really. Like, I very, very, very rarely, and the reason I don't, I also, okay, I'm gonna write a poem about this today.
Exactly.
I don't do that because I can't, because it ends up like not working well, because it's not flowing well, because it's not natural.
Yeah, it's not organic.
I just sit down and I say, okay, I got a dope first line that I like, and I have a certain style and pattern of writing, and I go, okay, well, I'm gonna write and see what pops out, kind of deal. And then it depends, like I said, where it ends up, what that poem becomes, and what that poem becomes. Also, and this is a question here, what it becomes, where it ends up, not the direction of the poem itself, but how it gets used. Like I said, I've got 2 books. Because one, Keep Calm, Feed the Bear is a collection of poems that I have spit or likely will spit, as it were. Scribble Visions is a collection of things that are better experienced read. Because they're easier to, I believe that performance poetry, spoken word, slam, we talked about earlier, there's a rhythm to it, there's a flow to it. There's a natural pull to me. Something that's an emotional kick there that comes in the listening. And we layer meaning in the way we spit certain things. I know a guy asked me a while back, he was like, man, I felt like you pause and stuff like that. I felt like you did it on purpose. I'm like, yes, I did. I planned my brace, and I know certain things because I'm giving you, I know what I'm doing to get you where I want you to go. I'm giving you a moment to chew on this, to absorb this, to feel, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking you along this journey, and we're traveling, and I know how to pace things to get you to feel I'm going. So there's ways that we layer meaning into how we spit a poem on top of just the words that we're spitting. But for some stuff it's just written, to me, it's what I think of, I envision as quieter. It's something that it's you feel it when it's you're hearing it bounce to the back of your skull. It's one way to put it, I guess, you know, that when it's resonating in your resonators, you know, when you read it, when you what's what I'm looking for? Ingest it that way. That's what I'm looking for. it hits a little different. So I always say, man, I ask people a lot of time. I ask performance poets all the time. Do you write just to spit, or do you ever write just to write?
Oh yeah, no, it's all. I mean, 9 times out of 10, I'm writing just to write. I'm writing just to write. And back to that, it sounds so cringy. What I consider like a black poet versus a traditional white poet versus, but it basically kind of boils down to, I could scratch black and white out, but a performance poet versus a book poet, I'll say. Mm-hmm. Like performance pieces versus like heart songs or whatever. I really, as a writer, my goal is just to find a good marriage in between them. Like one of my mentors, Rob Sturma, Rat Pack Slim, he'll get a chapbook, and he has his chapbooks, and when he gets on open mic, he'll just read something out the chapbook, and he'll perform it the way he can perform by reading out of his chapbook. It is like the ultimate marriage, and he is such a great poet because it's never like, hey, this is my performance piece. Everything in his book is a performance piece, and he'll pick that book up, and he'll read it, he'll spit it, he'll got the hand motions, everything. Mm-hmm. He'll occasionally glance down, look. But that's what I want to do. I want to have that marriage, because at the end of the day, poetry, and I think us as a people, we're a rhythmic people, a performative people. But at the end of the day, I also want these words to be respected and not just what people hear. Because it's one thing to rock a mic on a Wednesday night when people got dressed, took showers, got nice, and knew they were going to hear some dope poetry. Like, they went out. They could have stayed at home, but they got dressed, did all this stuff. Two, they knew they was having a good time when they left the house. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of contributed to something they were already doing. But to write a book, you don't have to read a book. You got to go out of your way to pick this up, open it, and read it, when you could be doing a million other things. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to be somebody with the stage presence who can handle that, but I want these words to be respected as well as they are on paper. Because like I said, reading a book is totally optional. And the more we advance with technology, like, the less reading we all doing.
Yeah. I the last couple weeks ago, the piece you spit about trying to get it in when you got kids. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that is, bro, you hit topics and subject and things that are so natural to people. Like, that's what I was going to say. I was thinking about earlier. I was like, how to describe you? Like, there's no contrivance there. There's no facade. Fantasticbros is your, nom de plume, but there's no like, the character Fantasticbros. It feels like you're the everyman spitter. Is how I look at it.
Appreciate that, bro.
And that's a dope place to be in, because so few people can do that.
I had a meeting with my mentor, Rob Sturman, once again, and we were just talking about, if I were to market myself, how would I market myself? And he was just like, man, I really think your lane is a nerd type thing, and I was just like, assuming I offended, and I was just like, damn. But then I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I'm a nerd. I don't think there's no shame in that.
Nerd. You're the, like he's a throwback reference. You're kind of like to me, the Tim Allen of poetry. The home improvement.
Oh yeah.
You're the dad.
Right.
But you're a regular guy who does good work. Now, because his stuff is iffy. But yeah. I'm like, but the thing is, like, you spit stuff that like people actually live through experience, and you don't expect that. Like, that's you trying to get it in, but you stepping over toys and stuff. I'm like, now take put your stuff away. People experience that, but who writes about that?
Sure.
And then you didn't just write about it; it was dope, like that. And on that, you were reading from your phone, but I was still like, bruh, I was more engaged by you spitting from your phone than I was some people spitting from memory, because the quality of the work was solid. And I know I could read that and it would still be solid. So you're accomplishing what you're going for.
That's what's up. Back to what you was kind of going through, like how you said people have these identities, almost like we some early 90s WWF wrestlers where like we have these. Yeah, like this is the thing.
Stone Cold.
But it's such a blessing when
I'm sorry, I just had a full. Okay, you got to pause and say, I had a full break in my head, bro, because that is my. Tell me he did not just say that. I am king. I got 2 words for you, bro. I'm sorry, man. I am a straight out of Dudleyville, bro.
Hey, man.
Bro, they
put Mae Young to that table, boy.
You think you love me, bro? That is my. Oh my God, like, bro, my era, like. I really want to meet the Dudley Boys and Stone Cold.
Man, you need to, if you're not familiar with my mentor, Rob Sturman's works, he's a big WWE fan. So he has a poem about Mick Foley. And it is...
Mama Foley's baby boy.
Man, it is great. I think Mick Foley even liked it and retweeted on Twitter once upon a time. Like,
man, let me start writing about the Dudley Boys and Stone Cold. Let me just see if I get a little shy, a little shade.
But that's the thing. It's like I was saying, it's so like a blessing. Like when I see poets as brands... Those brands work so much smoother when that's who the person is. Yeah. I see you like you're the intellectual dude, but it's not like what's that old wrestler who was just like the scholar. Like I forget, but like Mac is the you know who I'm talking about. Like his whole gimmick was just like I'm a scholar. He comes out with the cap and the diploma and stuff like that.
Yes,
late '80s, early '90s dude.
Oh man.
But I look at Mac. Mac is just like, I'm this high-profile gentleman, always suited and booted. But like, you see Mac anywhere, that's who Mac is.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm playing the character. This is just a slightly like 1.5 version of just already you getting.
The best gimmicks are always who the guy is, just cranked up to 10.
Exactly. And that's probably what makes Stone Cold so like...
Bruh, like you watch him on his podcast and show like that, Stone Cold, that dude is... I don't even drink beer, but god dang it, I would drink some that day and I would buy some for that man because he is... That's him.
The Texas Rattlesnake, like...
That is him every... Like... Dude, there's nobody but him. And I think that's what makes it so relatable. And what you said, man, I think it's what a lot of, unfortunately, performance poets struggle with. There's no them.
Yeah, it's a lack of self-awareness.
Oh, now don't even start that one, like, bro, like, read the room, my guy. But not, or just like you said, not knowing. They're trying to create this poetry character that replaces and supplants. They're trying to create a person who they want to be, who they wish they were. And there's an issue with the jail. And I think part of the problem is because they see folk who are like, okay, this is me and this is how I spit kind of thing. And like I said, the two match. You just crank it up for what you're doing kind of thing. They see that it's like, well, how do I do that? You know what I mean? How can I be that? I'm going to say something, man, that's probably going to be somewhat unpopular, but it is what it is.
Bear be stirring the pot, boy. Bear wakes up, like, cracks his knuckles, like, I'm about to stir this motherfucking pot, boy.
Double, toil and trouble, cauldron, burn, and fire, and bubble. Well, I definitely messed that up. Anyway, no, but I'm going to say, okay. Talent and skill. Talent and skill. We are God-given, blessed to have talent. You put in work to get skill.
Okay.
Some people are just not that talented.
Yeah, I feel like the two things can supplement each other. You see somebody hyper-talented, they don't got to have skill, like a natural athlete.
Yeah.
You just get out there, do the thing.
But you got to hone it at some point. At some point.
Yeah, to
Let's
get
think
that.
about it. You and that's the thing. I mean, okay, some people are super talented and ain't really got to try kind of thing. They're going to be good at what they do, regardless of that. But, and I guess it's one thing. I guess the thing, if you really want to be like, if you personally know you want to be really good at it, you make it a skill because you take your talent and you push to get that even freaking better. And not because I want to, like, for y'all, for me, some people know this, I am a classically trained baritone, lyric baritone. Okay. I've written albums worth of music in R&B, acapella gospel, etc. But I can break out an aria in German, Italian, and French in a heartbeat kind of thing. A lot of people wouldn't know that. See a big black dude with dreads, they wouldn't expect that. The reason I did that is because I've always sung. I know I can sing. But
with
I
an A on it.
With a couple of
couple of A's.
Couple of A's. Yes. But I wanted to challenge myself and push myself beyond what I knew I could do. I had the talent, but I wanted to find the skill. And I think some people, quite frankly, don't really have the talent. Now, they can be great if they're willing to work at it. It's a harder road.
Yeah.
And some people don't have the talent and also lack the skill, which is, you know, we talk about wrestling. There's a bunch of jobbers out there. Some guys like, this will probably blasphemy to wrestling fans, but quite frankly, I am not the biggest Goldberg fan.
Oh yeah, he didn't do it. He didn't have no yeah.
Goldberg was created, and Goldberg was dangerous when he started. Goldberg was hurting people.
Yeah.
Because he was raw, he was green. They brought him because he had a look. He was the WCW Stone Cold.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he was. He was killing cats because he didn't have it.
Yeah.
And you look at his time over the years, William Regal exposed him that the Joker couldn't wrestle.
Man, William Regal, he was a flabby dude.
But William Regal even now puts in paws on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knows how to actually wrestle, like amateur wrestling. Like that. He'll stretch you, like for real. You don't, and people learn, you do not piss off Regal.
Nice.
Because that Brit is not nice when he's upset. But that's the thing, man. Like, unfortunately, some people, bruh, I hang my head. Oh, I'm gonna get choked. Okay, some people, man, it's just a fact, man. Every game, there are people who get shine who don't have what it takes to actually have shine.
Oh, yeah.
And let me put this disclaimer because, bro, this is called, oh, Lord, Bear, stay in trouble. I got 30-day ban on Facebook right now. Lord of mercy, this is not hating because fuck me like, because he hate. Nah, I talk to you about this, man. And I think if anybody knows me, the very, very few people who, I don't say really know me, but who know when we talk about certain things, about things of this nature, like, my number one thing is this, man, let the work speak. Let the work speak. I can love you as a person. You be a dope freaking person. And I hate your opinion. I mean, because to me, let the work speak. Shawn Michaels was the epitome of an asshole.
Yeah.
Like 95% of the roster hated Shawn Michaels legitimately.
Yeah.
Hated his goddamn guts. If that bastard had got alcohol poisoning, died, I'd be like, oh, that's unfortunate. But they would go on. Cool. But nobody was gonna touch HBK in the ring.
Yeah, you can't touch me.
You cannot touch that joke in the ring. You cannot. Like, bruh, except for the last couple years, they called him the showstopper for a reason. Mr. WrestleMania for a reason.
Oh yeah.
HBK could have a good match with a mop.
If you got it, man. Real quick, shout out Big Swole, Miss Ariel, and Cedric Alexander. Some of my favorite wrestlers. Oh. I was stationed with Big Swole. I don't know if you're familiar with Big Swole, but we were stationed together in North Carolina. So, and and I didn't see her, like, we Facebook friends, and I see her doing a little wrestling thing when we were stationed together, and I see my friends posting. I'm like, how y'all know her? I'm like, bro, she on TV. I was like, oh. She big. I was like, oh, good.
Good work.
Yeah, man. Big dope. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, all those people, and I'm not the biggest Kobe fan, but like, you got to be a level of crazy to get to that next level. Speaking of like people, like Kobe's vertical was not impressive. Kobe was not a physical freak like a Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. But Kobe was just like, hey, y'all wake up at 7, I'm waking up at 5 working.
Bruh, you know, and that's you know what? I'm not the biggest ball fan. You know, LeVar is something else, man.
That's my dude.
But I slipped across.
Triple B's.
Never lost.
He's the man.
Never lost.
He is what they hate. They don't like black people who are loud and boisterous. They want to get us out the paint so quick.
I mean, I'm like, hey, be loud and boisterous and back it up.
You did.
Now, I'll say this. Probably my son. I'll say this, man. I stumbled across a video on YouTube the other day that was 3 of the boys playing high school. The youngest boy, it was
LaMelo,
whatever you know, Orangelo, Limongello.
LaMelo's youngest, Jello's in the middle, Lonzo the oldest.
Hey, it's a Lemon Jello, Orange Jello, Lime Jello.
Hey, George Foreman, man. All
George.
Yeah.
But the youngest boy was playing with his brothers. He was playing varsity as a freshman, 14. Them 3 brothers played a whole game with two other cats and they said they had like an undefeated season, beating the brakes off of opposing teams. The number one seed they were going up against is like prep school, whatever. Beat them jokers like almost like 100 points. Beat the living dog. Walk them like dogs. Beat the brakes off of them jokers.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay then, so what can you say? I mean, I ain't gotta like you to love what you do.
Dude, yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I can love you and like what you do. So I'm just saying that the craft has to be the craft. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that we should all be, if you're gonna do this, my thing is this, especially if you're gonna get on that stage and not just in an open mic, okay, anybody, okay, cool, rock out, man. I respect that's what it's there for. Bring up your pad, your composition book, your phone. Just do what you're doing, saying. Express yourself. But if you call yourself a performance poet, if you call yourself you in this game, then do the work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what... I was talking to Courtney one of the first times I met Courtney, and he was just talking about something, and I was just like, man, no disrespect to anybody, period. I feel like with poetry, like I was talking about earlier, it's this lady, but that's like saying you got a girlfriend and you don't know her birthday. Or not even birthday. You don't know her hair color, her eye color. If you don't know about some similes, some metaphors, some personification. He's like, yo, this is my girl, I love her. Like, you know, hey, yeah, what color eyes she got? Like, I don't know, let me get back to you on that. Like, what?
Yeah.
You don't know your girl's eye color? Like, you can't. And I think we get so... And I don't even know. It's like one of those chicken and egg type things. Which came first? Like, did we create this problem by like not respecting this open mic and not respecting this lady in the first place? Or was the problem always there? Is it always going to be there? And how do we... Because I don't like talking about problems without no solution. If we just complaining about something for the sake of complaining, vent and move on. But like, how do we as poets fix that thing? Like, because man, I want to, like, man, give me an extended metaphor piece. Just give me like the chicken nugget thing. Like, I'm talking about chicken nuggets, but it's really something under there. Give me a personification piece. Talk about a whole poem. I got a poem. I don't know where it's at, like I said, but it was all from the perspective of a condom. And it wasn't anything sexual, but it was just like, I'm rubber, you're glue type thing. Like, everybody just pulls me out. Fuck, like, how disposable we are. But it's just like, man, I want to hear other things. It was a young poet, and love this dude. Such a, beautiful young kid. He had a poem, and he was kind of like taking off with it, just taking off. And he was talking to me in Crawford, and he was just like, man, I want to get these tools and get these things in the game. And I was just like, my advice is going to be different than Crawford's, but I would say, man, get out of your comfort zone. And that's to any poet, anybody who want to be a writer, get out of your comfort zone. If you're good at writing like this, try to write like something else. And then look at other poets. Look at different colors, different ages, man. There's so many great, the tools is out there on YouTube, man. The tools is out there, but look at some people who do things different than you, who don't look like you, from whole different perspectives. And then once you see that, like when I went to my first slave and saw Kari, man, I was like, this dude is on a whole nother level. Like, I'm a big nerd. I love video games. Love video games, comic books, all that nerdy stuff. But I look at a video game I love, and I beat it. And then I look on YouTube, and I'll be like, let me see a speed run of it. So these cats will beat Mario, something as a kid it would take us months, years to beat. These dudes will beat it in 5 minutes flat, 5 minutes, 46 seconds. Like, yo, how did they do that? Now, if I love it, like you was talking about with the wrestling, if I want to be good at it, and I ain't trying to, break no world records, but let me see how the best of the best of the best of the best do it. Let me see how they do it. Let me at least show this lady, this poetry, this man, whatever, this entity. Let me show this thing that I have some reference for it. Let me put in the work. And that's, at the end of the day, somebody could tell me I work hard, I don't work hard. I don't care, because like you said, the work speaks for itself. Yeah. It speaks for itself. I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. But in my opinion, I do put in that time. I look at these things. I try to write. And in the same breath, if anybody got anything to support, I'm going to support, because I want to see what your process look like. What your process look like, what your process look like, what your process look like. And I know these things. Some of these things are heart songs. You cried writing some of these poems. Like, you was going through some things when you wrote some of these poems. And the fact that you chose to share that with somebody, monetary or not, especially on that open mic, that's why I listen. That's why I try to get that seat in the front to the left at ICE. If I get there on time, I'm sitting in the front every time. Because I want to listen. I want to force myself to listen, even when I don't feel like listening. Even if, you know, I want to be in the back of my phone chopping it up with Greg and AD or something. Like let me sit in the front, give everybody I can that respect, because not only do I respect this person writing, getting on that stage, like Jay Wiggs will say, because they're brave, they're trying. I want to respect this lady poetry. I want to respect, and it's not even a golden rule because I want them to pay attention to me. No, I respect you as a person. I respect you coming up here and doing this thing, because by doing that, I know you have some reverence for the lady that I got. You love this lady, I love this lady. You know what I'm saying? We in the same boat together. And it's cool to go in there and sit and be on your phone. It's cool. Yeah, but, you know, that's not what it's about. But it's like we waiting for that punch in the face, punch in the face, punch in the face. It's like we're waiting for the message to come to us. But how often do we go to the message? Yeah. Put yourself in a position to be receptive of it. But, yeah, I don't know. Same thing.
I feel you, man. I feel you with both hands on it, man. That's official. That's real. Like, I feel you on that, you know. I hate ain't me. I'm trying to pull the baddest in the room. Bro, like, if Portugal's a chick, she a bad bitch. I'm trying to pull it on. Exactly. She got a wagon. She yellow. She got green eyes. She got dreads.
Somebody got a type, man. Somebody got a type.
I'm gonna tell myself it's my show. I can tell myself all day, every day, whatever. Anyway, but nah, man. Like my first time, like really, I think like really like performance, like slam spin, whatever. I was at a UTD where I went to school, like at University of Texas Dallas, and some boy Gino, the geometric Nubian orator, and Rock Baby.
Hey, Rock Baby came and shut it down at the IAO gallery.
Rock
that titties,
boy. I love it.
Be some titties.
Hacky sack.
Yeah,
that is
over
my
your shoulders. Yeah,
dude, bro.
Rock Baby's that dude.
Is that dude, bro? Like them cats. Them Dallas cats are not playing.
I don't know why I thought Cuz was from Arkansas. I don't know why I thought Rock Baby was from Arkansas.
But I know he slammed with Dallas.
Got you.
He was down there part of the early scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
But they have
shout out UTD, Rock Baby.
They had the Underground Poetry Circus. They would do in like the calf there, and like Thursday nights, like what's on whatever. And I met with my homeboy. Shout out my boy, Ben Diesel, another stupid good poet. I actually jacked a line. We were going to a party one day, and it was for a frat, and they put us on a bus. They took us from their parking lot to the party, whatever. And UTD, I always say we look like ants in the Sugar Bowl out there. So. You know what I'm saying? It was mostly like foreign, actually. Because it's really big engineering school out there. It's down the street from Texas Instruments, blah, blah, whatever with that. But anyway, us the black folks on there chilling, whatever, and we freestyle on the bus, you know what I'm saying? We spitting, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, right? And the cat says something that I told him I took for the Bear Festo poem. He said, I don't bust gats, I bust pin caps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told him, like, bro, that is one of the coldest in a freestyle. Like, to me, that's a freaking writer. Like, that's the whole mindset. Shout out to my boy Ben Diesel. But so I'm saying, man, I go to spit this thing, whatever, and they bring this cat in, I think from Louisiana, the cat named Zero. I heard him spit, and I was like, oh, so that's what this looks like. Cat came back. Now, they flew his cat in, paid this dude money. He's, you know, on the circuit. Dude is a big, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, right. I said, bro, I probably can't beat you. I'm not able to beat you, but I damn sure ain't gonna lose to you. It wasn't a slam.
Yeah.
But I was like, bro, I'm finna come up here and I'm finna spit. And I freestyled. And he was like, bro, that was nice. Like, that's dope, bro. Like, that's nice. I was like, thanks. You know what I mean?
That means, look, man. Yeah.
To me, I go in, I tell all the time, man, I go to listen because I want to be inspired and motivated. I want to be challenged. I want to hear something that makes me like, I want to do a poetry, somebody said this, I want to do a poetry cipher with a couple of poets. We just trade. Because I'm always thinking like, bro, like I hear a poem like, oh, but I got something that could go perfect after that. You know what I'm saying? And we just kind of go, okay, you got one. It's like trading eights. You know what I'm saying? Jazz, I'm saying, okay, you got one, I got one kind of thing. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? That. So I want to hear something like makes me want to touch my phone. I want to write something, move my pen, and it's like, oh, bro, I got you you might get me, but I damn sure ain't gonna lose to you.
Yeah.
You know, so me, I mean, I admit I'm not the best audience for everything because, like I said, I'm judging if we got the stage. You got 2 or 3 good lines to catch my attention. After that,
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. 9 times out of 10, somebody step up there and, like you said, 2 or 3 lines. It's not even catch your attention, but whatever that thing those people can put out, you can feel it. Like whatever it is that they do to grab, ourselves included, whatever we do to grab the crowd, whether you're gonna get captivated or not, real quick. You know exactly what it is. Are you familiar with cat out of Houston, Outspoken Bean?
Yes.
Yeah, he came to school. I think it was at UCL. Man, he was the feature, and at that time, I was getting paid to do like History Month, or getting paid to speak. But $50 here, $50 here. But in college, I was like, and being homeless, I was like, yeah, this is good money.
Hey,
so
paper's paper.
Exactly. Every time there was a feature, my whole goal was like, I want people to remember me. You like that's my goal. Oh, it's a feature. It ain't me. I'm gonna make them regret not hiring me to be a feature.
That's real.
Yeah. And I think it's got to have that kind of level of my mentality, man. You got to have that level of like, I'm trying to kill somebody. Like
I told Mag, saying, and like I had to like hit him up and message like, say, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna fight fair, Because I'm like I said, I will go with anybody in this city, in this state, not in this country. I will go with you bar for bar on bars, bro. Poem for poem. And I'll eat your lunch. I'm telling you. Now, I know some cats that are like, I know some super dope wordsmiths, but they only do one type of poem. Mm-hmm. So it's like doing a versus, man, like the versus battles, man. It's like with T-Pain and I think Lil Jon, whatever. Bro, we hit some we dropping, we some nasty, I spell it, blah, blah. Switch up, did calypso music, some reggae stuff. It's like, okay, can you match me here? And most people can't. So I'm like, you might be dope in what you do, and I respect that, but I can do that. I'm gonna hit you with this, what you got to respond with that with. You know what I mean? But to me, that's not about being better than you. That's me loving my craft.
Yeah.
Because I want to see one of my current favorite poems is called Perfect. It was inspired by Rudy Francisco. Shout out to Rudy Francisco, who was one of my homies' favorite poets, whatever. She loved the cat, whatever. I said, cool, whatever. But I watched a couple of his things. I was like, bro, I feel like I could do that. And there's one poem he did about the girl who's at Starbucks, whatever.
Yeah.
Bruh. And so that inspired a poem. And I was like, man, because I said, I can do Rudy Francisco, yeah. But I love that poem because what it brought out of me and what that poem does. And it is halfway personal. It's how I feel about certain things. It's not like a true story, whatever. I'm laying my heart out. But it is something that is a part of me. Everything I spit somewhere in me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Who's this poem about what girl? It's an amalgamation? Yeah, it's an amalgamation of a couple of people, a couple experiences. But yeah.
So that's, like I said, that's to me, like you said, the respect the craft, love the craft, work for the craft. So that leads me to this question.
Yes, sir.
I've been talking about this. With all these things, how do you define success as a poet?
Like we was talking about before we recorded, man, that line gets blurred so much. You see people doing stuff, like, man, I wish I could do that. And then you're like, I wish I could do that? Or do you just get caught up in the excitement? Like somebody's having a baby. Like, oh, what's the sex of the baby? Do you care, or do you just want to know something before somebody else knew?
Oh, so I think it's like you said, like the baby fever. Like, we have the baby, want the baby. Just like, no, think about it, I'm cool.
Yeah, you get caught up in the hype, man. For me, success as a poet, I don't want to be the cliche typical. Man, if I get to the point, or when I get to that point where I get up on that stage and feel super, super comfortable and satisfied writing something, or if I'm satisfied, regardless of what the crowd does. Like you said, that time I read that one off my phone about the trying to have sex with the kids in Dirty Room. after I got off stage, I was like, man, like, I'm so happy. I had to tell myself I'm happy. Like, Justin, you did something and you didn't take the easy way out. In the back of my head, I'm like, but man, you could have just said this period poem and killed everybody. But I'm like, at the end of the day, bro, I want to do things my way and maintain my integrity with this. The cliche sell your soul, man. I'm just a selfish person. It look this way in my brain, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this way. I feel like if it happens any other way, if I get rich by any other way, that's an L. Or if I make it, quote, whatever that means, make it any other way, that's an L. Like, I'm not trying to be a Rudy Francis. I'm not trying to be a household name necessarily. I ain't got to get paid to do this. As long as,
nice.
Yeah, it would be super nice. If I can quit my job and be speaking full time, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. But at the end of the day, like I said, I didn't get into this to make money. Yeah. I got into this, like I said, I don't love this girl because of what she can do for me. I love her because of what I can do for her. Mm. And as long as I can keep doing it for her the way I believe she wants it done, I can rest my head at night happy. Because I think like I was saying earlier, like, man, I go to the white venue and spit the black poem. And the funny thing about that is it never, ever, ever worked out. It never worked out. Like, hey, you go there, things go wrong, they don't like your poem, you try to switch it and give them something you think they're going to like. Never, ever works out. That's the universe. That's that lady trying to tell me, like, hey, man, stay true to yourself. And I think this lady poetry, I don't think she want a lot from us. Like, you dating a real girl. Like, be yourself. And I just want to be myself. Fantasticbros, whatever that means to me at that time when I say these poems, man. I can't be the intellectual guy. That's you. That's who you are. I can't be the sharp dressed dude. I can't be the hood mentor like Crawford. I can't be the funny guy like Jay Wiggs or AD. I can't be the spiritual guy like Iria Dareflow. Like, I can't be the funny guy like Glenn. Like, I can only be Fantasticbros. And the second I try to be somebody else, I failed. When I give in to that pressure to wear this girl on my arm, put her in a short dress, put her in a pencil skirt and then pumps and walk her out so people can see me with her, yeah, I dropped the ball, man. And I love it too much to drop the ball. So I'm going to say my poems, and they're going to have these cartoon references, and I'm going to say these poems about these anime characters that probably not a lot of people know. But like I said, I'm going to do it my way. That's my success. Doing things my way and nobody else's. Because once you take it from me, you done took the best parts of me. And this is like something, as an adult, I'm sure we all have these identity crises, man. Like, I don't know who I am, or I don't know how I want to dress, especially me, like, in an all-white school. Oh, you talk white. Oh, you're not black enough. Oh, this and that, this and that, this and that. So you try to curate, like we was talking about earlier, you try to curate these identities, or like, what do they want from me? How should I talk? What should I say? Like, man, I love wearing short shorts. I love anime. I love Danny Brown. Like, I just love a lot of eclectic things. And it doesn't make me any less of a person. Mm-hmm. It makes me more of a person. And at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck, excuse my language, what anybody thinks about that. It's taken me so long to love me in this skin, from poetry down to everything. I wear what I want. I do what I want. I say what I want. And that's a level of freedom not a lot of people can have.
Whatever. I do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I roll with 12 gangs. We all commit hate crimes. Whatever. I do what I want. And that's success. That Cartman monologue is success. Not the hate crimes. But that Cartman monologue is success for me, man.
That is.
Yeah.
Bro. That's why they call you Fantastic, bro.
Man.
That is legit. I was going to ask a follow-up question, man, but I was what advice would you give to aspiring poets? But, I mean, what better can you say?
Man.
Be you.
Yeah, be you, stay in your lane, and this is going to hurt some folks. But when it comes to life in general, you are exactly where you want to be. I am comfortable with where I'm at in life, so I'm exactly where I want to be. If you ain't got it in life, it's because you ain't want it. If you ain't a better poet, you didn't want to be a better poet. You have all the tools. We have everything at our disposal to get what we want. If you don't got it, you don't want it. So we can all be real with ourselves, be a little bit more transparent, be a little bit honest. But in poets, keep writing, get out of your comfort zone, research people, and know your way around the building blocks of literature and grammar. Know these things. And it's not as glamorous all the time, knowing about these similes and metaphors and knowing how to use them, but those are all tools or bullets in the clip. You need these things. It's hard to jump into anything without knowing the technical aspect. It's some cats out there, good hoopers, good at everything, but you have to know the fundamentals. You got to know the basics before you can expand upon things. Like with building a house, man, like in the Bible. If you don't have a foundation, that house ain't going nowhere. I mean, if you don't have a foundation, that house is not going to stand up long. Like anything. You could be hot right now, but without that foundation, them skills, like you said, talent versus skill, you are never going to get any higher. And man, I shout out Red Dirt Poetry, shout out Melissa May, Jack Tapestry, Will Wizard, Rob Sturma, everybody out there who took the time to mentor a 19-year-old knucklehead. Took y'all free time. Andy Bowen, of course, my guy Andy Bowen. Just some of these poets that took time out of their schedules to look at my stuff. Maggie Downs, all those people who took time, King Kosher, Manny Hager, like all those people. And my kid's mom, Ashley Banks, Ashley Combs. Thank you. My kid met my kid's mother at an open mic. My child herself is born of poetry, man. So yeah, when I talk about this lady and everything I love, like I hold it very dear. So I would suggest to everybody, if this is something you say you love it. Don't disrespect it.
That's real. For sure. Shout out to Fantasticbros, man.
Thank you for having me on, man. This is dope.
Man, bruh. Man, we chop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
Talk to Proverb, man. It's like, bruh, it's, you back in the Langston days, man. Like, when you asked the question, we was talking about this when I hit you in the message or whatever. Like, can you do this for this long? Yes. Because I love talking about this stuff, man.
Now that I'm hearing, I'm like, man, this will be fun. I kind of would be a fly on the wall for some of these other ones, man. If I had nothing to do, I'd probably just be sitting in that corner just like...
Bro, like this is the magic, man. This is I want to give people an opportunity to take a glimpse into the mind of their favorite poets.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jen Hudgens too, man. I'm so sorry, Jen Hudgens. I love you, Jen.
Yeah, man. Don't have out here, hating on my podcast and downvote me stuff and tell people not listen to my stuff because you slipped up.
People, man. There's so many people. Man,
I'm like, shout out to y'all. You know who you is. All three of y'all. All three of y'all that I have respect of.
Y'all know who it is, man.
Okay. My reason for being, man. So as an actor, man, one of the things I love about acting. There's a couple things I love about acting. I love being last on stage for bows. Being a lead, that's close kind of thing. I love playing a lead, not because of the accolades, because of the work it requires. It takes more effort than just being a supporting cast or chorus, Devin Clover. It makes me work, and I love the work side of it. But I love the green room. I love backstage. I absolutely adore the backstage. I will do a show just for the backstage. And why? Because backstage is where you see the person without the costume. Or before the costume. You see the actual person. What intrigues me is looking behind the character and knowing that person. I think part of the reason that we are so awed by actors, actors like that. I remember Family Guy once they were doing one of those,
cutaways.
Yeah. And Peter was Laura Flynn Boyle's nighttime blanket, like she laid up on his stomach. Yeah. She's like, hey, Laura. It's like, yeah. Like, is Dylan McDermott nice in public?
He's like, I know exactly. He goes, good.
Good.
With that T at the end, he goes, good.
But that's like, bro, that's what we want to know. Yeah. We want to know that. We see Denzel and like, I wonder if he's like, because we said black folk is like people like Bernie Mac talking in one of his books, man. I Ain't Scared. He's like, people like, man, how you got that truck in Players Club? He's like, it's a movie.
Yeah,
I thought you died. It's a movie. Like Jamie Foxx said, stand up by him and LL. He's like, we got practice. No, we don't.
Yeah. He said he punched nigga. I thought we was acting.
He said somebody hit me, they get fired. Like, that's how it works. Like, you don't tackle me, no, bro. But yeah, it's that, seeing the person behind the character. And so I know that poets got fans. You know what I mean? The people that but you might not know. You know what I'm saying? People that know you, but they don't know you. And I would say 99% of people that I know don't know me. That's my choice. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta be, man.
You know what I mean? So, but I want to give people the opportunity to see how their favorite poet thinks. You know what I'm saying? To like, it's one thing, you got a dope poem, but what dopeness brought to that process. Shout out to Dope Poetry, because that's a darn good name. Dope Poetry, because it is. And it's dope people creating dope stuff to be received. So, man, shout out to you, bro. I'm so appreciative. You know what I'm saying? All right, so before we go, I'm gonna have this, written out as well. Let people know where they can follow you and find you.
For sure. Man, I got like a lot of Facebook friends, but none of y'all really like my artist page. So yeah, aka Fantasticbros on Facebook, youtube.com/aka Fantasticbros. And if you really want to find me on anything, it's literally Fantasticbros. Like, please don't tell me like, what show this, what show that. It is all Fantasticbros, with the exception of YouTube and Facebook, which are aka Fantasticbros.
I told you.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'm not plugging stuff is like, subscribe to my YouTube if you do. I mean, just watch the stuff, tell me what you think about it, because I work really hard on them YouTube things. Everything else is superficial, superfluous, like, which I probably should be more active on these. I probably should take the out, but hey, fuck with me if you fuck with me. If you don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me.
Hey, well, I will say this, you know what I'm saying, as your ever eloquent host, message your boy. Get with your boy, because the dude's official, man. Like, for y'all listening, I done had a chance to hear this man on several occasions, and I ain't never been disappointed.
I mean, appreciate that.
That is a short list of people I can say about.
I asked one favor in post if I can get a like anywhere in there if you can find it. If it's easy.
I don't know if I got the sound effect, but I'll make one. That was it, you know what I'm saying?
I'll find it and send it to you.
We're going to make it shake. Man, I appreciate you,
man. Thank you, man. It has been fun. Like I said, I'll run off 3 hours of sleep, and I don't even know I'm tired right now. Like, this has been a very engaging process. It's been very fun to talk about these things. We don't even get a chance to talk about that much, Yeah. When the lights come on Dope Poetry, we all.
Hey, I told you last Wednesday, it's like, I'm mad. I said, how you doing? I'm going to say, how you doing? I'm a little salty. Like, wow. I said, because he said when the lights come on, meet somebody and hug a poet. I ain't getting no hug.
And that's one of them things that's so traditional on all open mics I've been to. That's the thing. Like, hug a poet, in the words of, I believe, Spontaneous Bob. Hug a poet. So, yeah, and then y'all ain't hugging poets out here?
I need more hugs.
Yeah, we need to listen to instructions.
The bear has nice moments. I'm not a nice person, but I have nice moments. See? And I'm cuddly. Anyway.
It's your fault, America. It's your fault. I
blame you all.
See, if bear ain't nice, that's on y'all.
Hey, much love, my guy. And I hope we can chance it again, man.
For sure. This has been fun.
Again,
yeah, most definitely.
Like you said, picking your favorite poem is hard, so we'll have to get you to do another one sometime.
Never, man. I was just like, this one, that one.
Hey.
As always, I'm your metronomical misfit, that boy Bear, and I leave you with these words. Poetry does not seek to imitate life. Rather, life aspires to become poetry. One love, two fingers. Deuces.
This